Okay, we're looking at a little quiz review out of the Phillips Exeter Math 2. This is page 32, number 6, and page 33, number 7. And we're looking at some angle chasing going on in these pictures. So, as with most angle chasers, there's a lot of ways to do the problems. If you have a different way that works, great for you. And if not, let me show you some of the ways that I solve these problems. So I'm looking at the first one here on the top left corner. It's our triangle. And we're looking at a full triangle with measurements 61, 52, and this angle is 31 plus n. So you could do this all in one step pretty easily. Since our triangle adds to 180, we could go 180 minus our 52, and I'll just do some, I don't have a calculator here, so I'm just going to go right through here. That would be 128, then minus the 61 would give us a 67, and then we could subtract out the 31, and that will give us a 36 for our n. So again, we had this whole triangle adds to 180. Subtract out our 52 here, our 61 here, and then that gave us 67 for this entire angle. We can subtract out the 31, and then our final answer there is n equals 36. So this right here, n equals 36. Okay, looking at our second one here, we have a pair of parallel lines as denoted by these arrows here and here. So those top and bottom lines are parallel. There's a couple ways you can look at this. I've seen people who, some of my students will actually extend this line here to help them get the triangle. But either way, you're going to need parallel lines and the idea of alternate exterior. So again, one way people do it is they'll extend this line right here. They'll say that this is one transversal, so this angle has to be equal to this angle via the alternate interior angle theorem. Once we get that, we can angle chase to x. So we'll go ahead and do it that way. So that means this angle right here would be 56. We can look at the whole triangle now, and we could do 180 minus, now 56 plus 42 is 98. So 180 minus 98, that gives you an 82 for this angle right there. And then that gives you that x equals 98, because these two have to add to 180. The x and the 82 add to 180. So that's one way you can do it. Now, the way that I did it was not that way. So let's look at the way I did it. Erase this. This is more of a 1 to 2 step process on my method. Is instead of just using the parallel lines that they gave me, I created another parallel line across the middle here. So I actually made a parallel line right through this angle x. And by doing that, I created alternate interior angles here, which that means that this is 56, and use a different color here, a little blue, and here. So that means that this angle is 42. Now we can add these two angles together. So add these two angles together here, and then we get x equals 98. It's a little slicker method, 90 degrees, a little slicker method of doing that. Okay, we can take that same idea to our last one on the top right here. And again, there's a lot of ways you can draw this one. Some people I've seen draw a perpendicular line through those. And then because we have a pentagon left in the middle here, it's kind of like a home plate, we can find this with linear pair and this with linear pair, and then that'll help you solve for y. So that's one way you could do it. That is not the way I did it, just because the last problem, I used that same idea of constructing another parallel line. So I did the same thing. It's the last problem. Constructed a parallel, oh, that was bad. Let's redraw that. Let's try to draw a parallel line parallel to the other two lines. A little bit better. So this purple line is parallel to those lines, which means that this 46 is corresponding to this part of y. So that right there would have to be 46 degrees. And same thing with the 27. It corresponds to that part of y. That's 27. So now y, we have to add up the 46 and 27, which is 73 degrees for that one. So that was finishing page 32, number 6. Let's look at page 33, number 7. To do this one, the first one on page 33, on the left here, I use the same idea as we used right here. Alright, so what I did here is I drew a parallel line through the 71. Now because that was 71, this is 38, and that has to be 38 because of alternate interior angles, which means we could subtract 38 from 71 to get this angle right here. So 71 minus 38 is a 33 degrees, and that is an alternate interior angle with x, so x would have to be 33 degrees. Pretty simple one there. And the last one, we have a lot of parallel lines. What I would do here is, let's pick a different color here. How about we go with that little green? Okay, so I was looking at the 72 first. I see these parallel lines that have the two arrows, and then I have this transversal here. So I'm looking at that, and I know that because of corresponding angles, 72 would have to be the measurement right there, because those are parallel lines with the transversal. And because these are same side interior angles with 72 and W, they have to add to 180. So to get W, I can go right over here to the right. W, that would be 180 minus 72, which is 108. 108 degrees. So I'll write that right there. So W is 108. Now what I did is I extended these lines here. And by doing that, I created a triangle on the bottom here. So now the 98, we can find this angle that's a linear pair with a 98 right there. Those two add to 180. So that means that right next to the 98 would be an 82. And then I was noticing up here that we have a parallel line. I'll draw this parallel line here. But this line up here, this red line now, is now parallel to this one down here, as denoted by this arrow, that arrow. So that means this angle here, that 72 degrees, by alternate interior angles, is equal to this angle right there, 72 degrees. So now we have a triangle, and we know that triangles add to 180. So that means that U would be 180 minus 82 plus 72, which is 154. So then 180 minus 154 would be a 26 degrees. So U is 26 degrees. And those are the problems on the Math 2, page 32, number 6, and page 33, number 7.